Hey, it's Kate. Welcome back. Today I'm talking about why we often choose a career that maybe we don't actually love and how we can change that career, whether we're changing something within the career itself or within the job or shifting in a totally new career. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to cover is why we end up choosing a career that we don't actually love, that we're unsure of. And the number one reason is fear. We have a society that really likes to tell us you are going to live in scarcity and in lack. So you better find something that has the most, stable job with the benefits, with the health insurance, and you want something that you would never have to worry about, like losing that career. And while that's a great idea, and I completely understand people's need and want for, stability and security and safety. There's a way to go about it where you're not coming at it from fear. Because a lot of times, opportunities or challenges are presented to us and we say yes because we think we have to. I can tell you that the first full-time job that I had, I was actually working part-time and I kind of liked having it part-time. It was my first job out of college. I was part-time and I liked that I wasn't full-time yet because I had more freedom and more time to myself. And, the money and stability wasn't as important to me yet because I was still living at home. So, yes, different situation because I know other people, if you have a family and you need the health insurance, it's a different story, right? But I was offered the opportunity to go full time. And I remember just being so scared in that moment that, like, if I didn't take this opportunity, when was I ever going to find a different job? Because it took me so long to find that job that I did get. And what if I said no? They were going to maybe just find someone else to replace me completely because they needed the full-time hours. And that none of that felt good. So it was like I was going into it just because of this fear mentality. And so many times people choose a career path based on fear. I mean, how many people get deterred away from going to college or pursuing a career path that they might love, like something in the arts? It happens all the time. You're told, oh, you're just going to be like a starving artist if that's the career path you go into. No, there's absolutely so many opportunities out there, but we hear so much coming in from the outside. We hear so much fear from other people and from society that we end up taking that fear into our own decision-making process. And so we can get stuck in a job or a career that we don't love. The next reason is money. And I know that, has to do with fear, and it also has to do with the desire. Like, of course, you have a desire to make an amount of money that is comfortable for you, to supply you with the resources that you need to live a good life, to have the house you want, the car you want, to support yourself and a future family. So, while all of those things are absolutely a great reason to accept a job and to accept a certain amount of money and desire a certain amount of money from a job, I have heard people, take one job over another because of like a very small amount of money, like $5,000 or $10,000, and they're accepting a job that maybe they didn't love as much and didn't have as much opportunity just because they were offered more from a different position initially. But things can always change, and you can start at a job that maybe is a little bit less money and have opportunity to grow, have opportunity for promotion, or maybe being at this one job for a certain amount of time opens up opportunities at a different company in a few years. So it's always important to, of course, consider money, but don't take a job solely for the money, because in the back of your mind, there might be that just feeling of unfulfillment, feeling like it's not right, and feeling like, what if I took the job that I actually felt more aligned with that was a little bit less money? Could you have gotten by with that little bit of less money and had a lot more happiness and fulfillment? Potentially. So it's something to consider. Another reason we end up in jobs or careers that maybe we don't love or we're unsure of is because we feel like we're forced to make a decision. And that's again what kind of happened to me. I was in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And you're so young when you go to college and are told, like, okay, now's the time to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. At 18 years old, I didn't know what was going to be a fulfilling job for me. I just didn't have enough life experience yet or, even take different courses and classes in different types of career paths to even know what I liked. So, my advice to those who are still in that decision making phase, maybe you're in college or you're about to go to college, or maybe you're just deciding to change careers, is to figure out what you actually like, what you actually enjoy, and go into it for yourself. Don't listen to what everyone else has to say. Don't feel like you have to be forced into a decision. Like, really listen to yourself and feel it out before you make that decision. So, now let's talk about why you can change your career. Number one is it is never too late. I just want to say I have spoken to people who changed their careers in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, even. Yes, you can always change your mind. Just because you spent a lot of time potentially in a career or getting an education for a certain career path doesn't mean that you're not allowed to change your mind. Yes, it might feel really not ideal or great if you went to school for something and then you end up in a totally different career path. But what is more important? Worrying about, your past decisions that you made when you weren't 100% sure of where you wanted to go? Are you going to carry that into your future? Because I really and truly advise you to your future to just be focused on your future and what you want and what you desire out of your career. So let go of the guilt that might come up and allow yourself to explore something different, allow yourself to try something new. It is, again, never too late to change. Also, there is always opportunity out there. A lot of people like to scare, again, like this scary mentality from society, this lack mentality tells us that there's no jobs out there. And you read the news and people talk about there's no jobs. There are always jobs. There are always companies. There's always new companies being built. There's always changes happening. And there's always opportunities. You just genuinely don't know what's out there. You don't know what's going to be out there. You could have one day not a ton of opportunities, and then a month from now, a whole bunch of opportunities open up. So you just truly never know, but there's always opportunities out there. And so you always can change your career. You can always change your job. There's always an option for you. Another important piece to changing your career, if that's something you desire, is that there are truly limitless amounts of education available today. You don't have to go to, a 4-year college for every single career path anymore. You can take so many different types of education right online. You can do this while you're in your current job. You can teach yourself, like go on YouTube. There's so many things that you can learn from different resources. There's so many books available. There is just a limitless number of ways to educate yourself and teach yourself, whether it's a new path or, new field kind of all together. There's always options to learn, and you can absolutely go into things without needing a bachelor's degree. I'm not saying every job that would work for, but I can tell you that my boss at my old job, when I worked for a marketing agency, did not have a bachelor's degree. Yes, it's important. I have a bachelor's degree. There are some companies and places that will require it, but there's also some that won't. So your education, your experience, you can shadow people, you can network with people and ask about their career. And there's so many ways to learn and increase your knowledge and be able to gain the education that you need to make a shift or a switch in your career. And you can always also ask in your current job if you want to maybe stay in that field or stay in that career, but you want to slightly change your path or increase your education on something. You can always ask for that education within your career. Ask if they can send you to workshops. Ask if, there's a continuing education piece to it. So don't be afraid to ask in your current job, and don't be afraid to educate yourself. Take time during your free time to learn a new skill, to develop something. This is absolutely a way that can help guide you to changing your career. So how can you change your current career, the current job that you're in? Maybe you like it, but you just wish like this one thing would be a little bit different. Or you just wish you could get rid of this one responsibility and the rest of your responsibilities are great and you have no problem with them. Firstly, I invite you to really know what is in your job description, because it's important to know what is expected of you, what roles and responsibilities you are required to do per your job description. Your job description is a contract, or maybe you have a separate contract that you signed, but every legitimate job that, anybody's going into, there should be some form of a signature in agreement to the job that you are signing on for. So I really invite you to know exactly what is in that, because that is going to be important if you are asking to shift things. One of the biggest things I see people want to shift is setting more boundaries. That can be a scary thing for some people. They don't want to tell their boss, no, I can't work overtime because I have a life outside of work. Or, no, I'm absolutely drowning in work and I can't take on another role and responsibility without something else changing. So that is, again, why I say get to know your contract, know exactly what's in there, your contract, your job description, and lay it all out. Figure out, what do you want to change? Is it one of your roles and responsibilities? Is it asking for more compensation because you've taken on 5 other responsibilities since you started? Is it setting the boundary that, my job description says I finish at 5 p.m. and I finish at 5 p.m. And if you need me to stay later, I'm not going to, work overtime. I'm going to leave early the next day. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want, to be intentional about what you want, because we need to shift the whole culture of the workplace as a whole. I truly, truly and strongly believe that us as America have a very toxic relationship with work. Everybody is overworked, everybody is overstressed, and I could go so far into this topic, but it doesn't change for anybody unless we collectively start to change it. So I really am inviting everybody that is like in my generation, the millennials, even those who are, older than me, even those who are younger than me, Gen Z, like we need to collectively do this together and set a new precedent going forward. So change your current job by getting really clear on what your roles and responsibilities are, what you want, and ask for them. If you are told no, then that's okay. Number 1, see if there's a compromise in there somewhere. And number 2, if there's no compromise available, you can get a new job. Maybe that's not the most ideal thing. Maybe that's scary and you have fear coming up from that thought. But your current role, if you want to do that exact same job somewhere else, you can find that somewhere else, and you can be very clear on what your requirements are, what you want outlined in your contract, and what you are and are not going to agree to, and you can find that job. I guarantee you, again, there are opportunities out there for you. You never have to just up and leave your job. You can start looking, you can start interviewing while you're at your current job. And then when the opportunity comes up and you're offered a new position, you can take that position and leave the old one. I'm never saying to just up and quit and be without a salary or without health insurance or anything like that. But I am encouraging you to, number one, stick up for yourself. Number two, be very, very clear on what you want. And number three, be intentional about it and go after what you want. If you can't get it where you are currently, I always say to my clients, love the job that you have until you have the job that you want, because that energy that you put into your current job will, radiate out into your job search for more, for something different. So try to remember that mentality as you're looking for what you actually truly want. And then lastly, I wanted to quickly touch on how to change your career completely, like how to go into a totally new field, because I have met many people who have done this at various stages of life, and it is possible. Maybe you don't want to go to college for 4 years to get a bachelor degree. And, what I was saying earlier in this video is you can always find a way to educate yourself, to take courses, to read books, to network with people, to shadow people, to do internships. There's so many opportunities out there to learn new skills. So most importantly, really figure out what you want to do if it's a totally new career path and research what those requirements are, and then figure out how you can get there. Can you take classes? Is there an expedited path? Is there a way that you can do this part-time as an internship or shadow someone? Figure out exactly what you need to do and create that plan for yourself. I highly recommend you talk to people that are in that career path so they can give you guidance. You can have almost like a mentor to really teach you how they got there, and you can then do it for yourself. And that maybe that's being an employee in a totally different career path, or maybe that is becoming an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, if you have a skill and it's a skill that you're able to monetize into a product or a service, then there's nobody that's going to tell you otherwise. You can't, nobody's going to be like, well, you don't have a specific bachelor's degree in that. If you are doing the service, providing the product, whatever it is, there's such a broad range of opportunity and options out there. If you were to start your own business or become an entrepreneur, signing up and registering for an LLC doesn't actually require anything except the registration and the fee. So there's always opportunity out there, and entrepreneurship, at least for me, is the best decision I ever made. I will never work for someone again. It's not for everybody, and that's totally fine too, but that opportunity is out there, and don't let anybody scare you away from that or scare you away from changing your career. The mindset of believing in yourself and believing that you can make this big change and make this shift in your life is what is going to carry you through. It's what is going to make it possible, because you have to have the thought and the belief first before the action and the change actually truly follows. So my invitation here is to be intentional, make a plan, whether it is to make a shift in your current job, to ask for something different, whether it is to look for a new job within your same career field and being very intentional and specific about what you desire, and, not settling until you find that or find something very similar to that, or making a plan to change your career altogether. And what would that look like for you? Sometimes, again, that could be working on things in your free time alongside your job. There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of ways to do this, but you can do it. And so I would love to hear in the comments if anyone has ever, sort of been through this. Tell me about your story and how you changed your careers completely, or how you were able to make your current job a better situation. I would love to hear it from you guys, and thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.